This is the show where we talk about money in a way everyone can understand it and in a way that applies to everyone. The danger of these simple concepts is those of you that view yourself as intellectuals, those of you that view yourself as sophisticated, sometimes you look at something that's simple and you don't understand how profound it is. Like the borrower is slave to the lender.
Oh, but I use credit cards to get my miles.
You actually think you're going to take on a multi-billion-dollar company who studies your behavior more than you study your behavior and come out on the right end of this stick. That doesn't make you sophisticated. That makes you blatantly stupid. Think about it. Did you know the credit card is the most aggressively marketed product in the history of humankind? Nothing has been sold to anyone in any culture in any kind of a volume close to the credit card. No product line or service has had anywhere near as much money spent on marketing and sophistication to sell it to you. Hundreds of millions of dollars a year is spent to sell you this product. And then you're so stupid that you think you're going to get away with using it for free. If you do, it's going to be a short-term thing. Or if you think you do, you left out some of the variables. Example. When you spend using cash, it activates the pain centers of your brain. You have an ouchie moment when you hand over Uncle Benjamin Franklin. Dad, come, I just bought dinner. When you lay Uncle Benjamin Franklin in that black plastic tray known as his coffin, because he's going away and he's not coming back, you put him inside that little Visa or American Express fold-over vinyl thing that the server brings you, and you lay Uncle Benjamin Franklin in there, you have a moment with Uncle Ben. It's Uncle Ben, I'll never see you again. You know this is happening. When you pay with plastic and I interview you 24 hours later, you don't know what the total was on the bill. You can't tell me what you spent. You don't know what you spent at the gas pump because you stuck a card in it, you pumped the gas, and you walked away. You can't tell me what your gas bill was. In the days that we used to walk into the market and lay money down on the counter, and then they would give you change because you didn't round it off when you were putting your gas in, we knew exactly what we spent on gas in those days. Today, you don't even know what your gas is. You don't know. I use a debit card. I can't tell you what mine was. Can I tell you what it cost to fill up my truck the other day? I don't know. I didn't notice. Just stuck the card in, put the gas in, drove away. I'm just like you. Cash activates the pain centers of the brain. There's 2 or 3 things that activate memory. Memory is activated primarily by pain, fear, heavy emotion of some kind. Positive, pleasurable emotion will activate memory. That's why you smell something and you remember a girl you dated in high school. Smell activates that memory. That's what happens. And so that's the process. So here's the thing. If you can't remember it, it means the pain centers of your brain were not activated. And when we do surveys with what you spent on that meal, as you walk out of the door of the restaurant, you can't tell me what the total was. Oh, it was around $25. Around $52. I don't know. 56, 54. I don't know. I don't even remember. I think I left the tip. I left a big tip because I've been drinking. You know, now you really can't remember anything, right? So this is how people handle their money. And yet you tell me you're going to beat the credit card company. You spend 12 to 18% more on average when you use plastic than when you use cash. That's what all the studies show us because you don't feel the pain. And the world's worst place is the grocery store. They are the best marketers on the planet. The best merchandisers on the planet is the grocery store. Man, they know how to put the food at the right place. old-fashioned example, the easiest example, is the bread and the milk's at the back, right? Because everybody that walks in a grocery store is buying bread or milk, and they have to go through the full length of the store and have every opportunity to impulse on some kind of jar of peanut butter and jelly mixed together, pre-mixed for you. I don't know what you're impulsing on, but there's something getting your attention. It must be those new peach Cheerios I heard about today. And guess what? All the stuff is at the eye level that gets your attention, and they pay for the shelf position as you walk to the back to get your bread and milk, and you can't walk out without spending money. It's the aisles are designed for you to buy stuff. And when you use plastic at the grocery store, you have no idea what your grocery bill is. And you spend more. You spend more on clothing. Oh, yeah, throw in that accessory. Oh, yeah. You'll pick up other people's tab at the restaurant. I'll buy your dinner tonight. Not think anything about it. Just drop $50. Never think a thing about it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be generous. I'm not saying you shouldn't accessorize. And I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy some purchases at the grocery store. I'm just saying you ought to do it on purpose. And if you think that credit card use, even if you're paying it off every month, costs you $0, then you are a very naive individual that has been influenced by an industry that has spent more to influence you than any other industry in the history of the world. That should give you pause. That should give you pause. If anybody else was selling you that hard on anything, your shields would go up. But for some reason, when it's credit cards, we're like,
Oh, no, Dave, I have this figured out. I'm 26 and I've got this figured out. I'm 26 years old. I make $42,000 a year, but I'm going to beat up on old Discover card. They don't know anything. I've got them beat. I'm getting those Discover points. Not costing me a thing. You know how stupid that makes you sound when you say stuff like that? I'm making all my money on my airline miles. You know, I've met with thousands of millionaires. I've never met a millionaire who said, Dave, you know, I made all my money on my airline miles. Dave, my breakthrough was my Discover points. I'll pay mine off every month, Dave. I'm beating up on the credit card company. I'm getting the use of their money, wink, wink. Millionaires just don't say stuff like that. Now, some of them use a credit card. They do pay it off every month. But I got to tell you, their lifestyles are so conservative. Beside, you know, when I set them up next to you middle-class people who are spending everything you make and trying to convince me that I'm a troglodyte because I don't use credit cards, well, I'm not broke anymore. This is a multimillionaire troglodyte you're listening to. Why? Because I start understanding that behavior affects your ability to build wealth more than all your little math tricks you think you see all the variables on. The borrower is slave to the lender. It doesn't say accept airline miles. The borrower is slave to the lender. It doesn't say accept Discover points. The borrower is slave to the lender. It doesn't say accept I got 0% interest on my new car, which lost $7,000 when I drove it off the lot, so it's not really 0%, is it? How stupid are we? I mean, you're gonna hand me a nickel in front of me while you're picking a $100 bill out of my back pocket and call me smart. Think, people. Think. Think. If someone's shoveling stuff down your throat at this rate, to the rate of hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and their ability to sell and to market to you is beyond any other sophistication of any other marketing program, there must be money in it. Follow the money. Follow the money. So I don't have any credit cards. I have 2 debit cards. You can do what you want, but it's working for me. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.